Hey everyone, welcome back to the next edition of Hello World, the Loyal Companion Sharpshooter Edition. We're going to give you some builds, tips, and just general thoughts on the class. It is my main right now, so I obviously have a love-hate relationship with it. Here we go. For stats, pet, accessories, and gear set, we're going to be running a necklace with spec crit. Both rings will be spec, both earrings will be crit, with a bracelet that has spec and crit on it. And hopefully something like precise circulate, all the classics that you don't really see, but do your best. Tripod requirements, obviously all, but you don't have to have anything on this build. It's just you do more damage the more you have. Rune requirements, all quality of life. Quick recharges are really what I use here just to try to get some resets while we're playing. I use 3 of them. You're going to have to probably put an overwhelm on your sharpshoot now and then, or a purify on something like moving slash. For the gear set, we're running salvation. You can run hallucination with full spec. You lose a little bit of damage at the absolute ceiling. But if you're on the lower end of gear and only have a couple like big gems, it's kind of nice because you can just put one big gem on snipe, one big gem on the bird, and let it rip. It is a little bit more expensive to get the spec jewelry when I last priced it, but do what you want. For the pet, we're going to be running crit unless you're the full spec, obviously. Our core engravings are going to be Cursed Doll, Grudge, Keen Blunt, Loyal Companion, Hitmaster with +1 and Dread. You can run Ether Pred, but I'd highly suggest running a Dread over it. For Elixir, we're doing Critical. Now, something to note is you can drop Cursed Doll for Ether Pred 3 if you're doing something like Theamine Gate 4 prog. That's what I'm doing currently. Yep, so keep that in mind. For skills, I put 3 different builds up here, but really it's just the top left one we're focusing on right now, and that's what you're going to be running for Theamine and content like that. The bottom left lets us slot in Arrow Shower. It gives you a tiny bit more damage. And some multi-hit with Stagger if you put an Overwhelm on Arrow Shower. If you want to like double down on get Cruel Annihilator, right? Put an Overwhelm on Sharpshoot and Arrow Shower. Top right lets you run Claymore Mine, which is another point of destruction. Also gets the attack power down buff and tenacity, which is really nice. But you sacrifice moving slash for that. Now for tripods, we have on Hawkshot, Silver Master level 1, Red Hawk 5, Co-op Strategy 5. Atomic Arrow is Damage Amplification 1, Enhanced Arrow 5, Long Fuse 5. On Sharpshoot, Vital Point Hit 5, Weak Point Detection 5, Focus Shot 5. On Snipe, Quick Prep 5, Weak Point Detection 5, Easy Prey 5. Deadly Slash is Silver Master 1, Sawtooth Blade 1, and Double Slash 5. You can alternate Sawtooth or Double as your 5 depending what you want. The Arrow Wave would be Enhanced Arrow 5, Ally 5, Wave Streak 5. Charge Shot is Quick Prep 5, Ally 5, and Fast Fire 5. Moving Slash is going to be Excellent Mobility 5, Repulse 1, and Survival 1. Reason for those tripods on Moving Slash is so you can deal with things like the Darkness Wave on Theamine Gate 3. Using Moving Slash over it, it'll prevent you from getting the Darkness deck. For gems, we're going to be using a damage and cooldown on Arrowwave, Charge Shot, Sharpshoot, Snipe, and Hawkshot. This kind of gives you really good overlap with Death Strike if you want to play that as well. And then Silverhawk skill, get a damage on it. And here's my Sharpshooter. We're 1633 with crit spec as outlined in the guide. We've got a really nice precise circulate, dex, crit spec bracelet. 25 weapon with 96 quality. Right now we're running salvation across the board as the guide showed. And just a couple things to notice: this identity meter here at the bottom, that is our birdometer. It lets you summon your bird and keep your bird out. You have to fill this up to get your bird the first time. So the way we do that is 2 ways. First option is to use Hawkshot and Deadly Slash to use the Silver Master tripod, try to get bird meter. That takes forever. Easiest thing to do is just use Fenrir and get your awakening off. Now we have our bird by tapping Z, and there we are. Once your bird is out, it'll continue to auto attack as you see here. Throughout the fight, you're going to always want to tap your Z every single time on cooldown. Don't ever stop doing it. Next thing you're going to want to do is always keep your synergy up, which is Atomic Arrow. So right here, if you look at it, we have damage amplification. That's 6% to all party members, but also we're running the long fuse tripod. And what that does is after I shoot it, we're going to get our synergy on for 8 seconds, and then the arrow's going to explode, reapplying the synergy back up full. Something you might want to do while you're playing Sharpshooter and a bunch of classes in Lost Ark in general to improve your damage is to focus on stutter stepping, kind of like what you do in MOBA as an AD carry. So after you shoot a skill, take a step towards wherever you need to be for the next pattern and just kind of cycle through them as you go around the boss. You want to always be close to the boss on just about any class. Can't think of any situation where you want to be outside the boss unless there's some kind of pattern. But moving and taking steps between each pattern does help you keep a heads up on what's going to happen next and being closer to position for the next part of the fight. As noted before, we don't run the Birdnado, the second awakening, because that one doesn't give us full meter, and we want to use that as an oh shit button because, hey, you know what? We're all adults. Sometimes you make mistakes. You may hit your X on accident to desummon your bird, and that's going to completely destroy your damage since a lot of our tripods require you to actually have your bird out. Those are the allied tripods, like right here, or co-op strategy. So for Loyal Companion, the idea is just to put everything on cooldown, always be casting your ABCs. Priority Q going to Snipe, Hawk Shot, Charge Shot, Sharpshoot, Arrow Wave in that order. And we have quick recharges on our Moving Slash, our Deadly Slash, and our Sharpshoot. So the idea is to put our big skills on cooldown and then hit those outside of that. That way we can try to reset the cooldowns a little bit lower on those. Now, in some fights, you may need to hold your counter, and it's perfectly fine to do that. Or you may need to hold your Moving Slash to avoid getting a status ailment, which is also perfectly fine to do that. But outside of that, just play safe, play smart, heads up, use your Z on cooldown. Another cool thing about the class is while I'm charging my snipe up, I can tap my Z and send it, or sending any of my other skills, including Awakening. Outside of our main skills, the best time to use your Awakening is going to be an Atropine window, and you want to sync it up with the support. It does a pretty good amount of damage. Where I'm at right now, I can probably get like 350 million out of it, which is, pretty sizable for like an uptime class. That's with Atropine Dark and like a Bard buff, let's say. So the way that would look is I'd get my Synergy on, and we'd start charging it with the Atropine, popped it, and then we Awakening into Snipe. Hawk Shot, Charge Shot's always done in melee, and then just finish up the skills. You can pretty much finish everything in the Atropine window. Something to note is that if you notice your identity meter dropping, that's because you're not hitting your Hawk Shot and your Deadly Slash. As soon as you hit it, it pretty much fills up to full, so it's not something you really need to be worried about throughout the fight. A lot of people ask me, like, why don't you play Deathstrike? And I do play Deathstrike now and then. I just prefer LC. I find it more fun, relaxing, and I don't know, it's enjoyable. That being said, it does do definitely less damage in some capable players' hands. Like you can see the ceiling on something like Theamine going into 30 million range. As of right now, my LC SS parse on gate 3, the highest I've done is 25 million. I think I have the highest one right now. Something to note is that the gunner class, especially Sharpshooter, will backstep while he's auto-attacking. And so you can see here, my character's backstepping. It can get you kind of in trouble in some patterns. Same with Snipe. Your character does a quick backstep, and you almost always step into a red thing when you do that. Something you can do is, one, just play smart. Like Snipe is your biggest damaging skill. Always want to make sure we hit it if we can. Not into DR, not into a boss disappearing. So try to send it during a pattern that you have a safe window in. You can also snipe backwards, which will step you towards your target. If you see there, do it again, and then just rotate the mouse to the other side. All right, and that concludes the Hello World edition of Sharpshooter Loyal Companion. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you got questions, comments, anything else you'd like me to cover in maybe the next video or whatever, let me know. You can also check me out on Twitch at twitch.tv/JohnPal. I'll see y'all around.